This is Group 3 and this is our animal science project. My name is Yvette Esquivel. This is my first year here at Fresno State and I'm currently an Ag Ed student.
My name is Jasmine Flores. This is my first year at Fresno State, and I am an agriculture education major with an emphasis in plant science.
My name is Jackie Campos. I am a pre-vet major and this is my first year at Fresno State.
My name is Eliza Ortiz, and this is my freshman year at Fresno State, and I am in the crim major.
And this is our first part of our animal science project against antibiotic use in food animals. To start off, I decided to do 1 through 3 on our checklist, and this is the history and background. Antibiotic use in animals and livestock has been around since the early 1900s. It started in the 1940s and 50s when scientists were researching medicine and the creation of penicillin. Penicillin was first used in livestock animals such as cattle and horses in order to cure and treat pneumonia and fever. Science continued to evolve, and this led to the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, to approve medicine and antibiotic usage in animals in 1951. Although the FDA approved antibiotic usage in animals, the years to come when dealing with antibiotic usage would soon grow to heavily resist antibiotic usage and therefore creating the movement against antibiotic use in animals. In 1996, the National Antimicrobial Resistance Monitoring System, or NARMS, was established to help find the cause of human food bacteria illness and limitations of antimicrobial usage with regard to bacteria resistance. History and background continued. As the years progressed in antibiotic resistance in society, many people began to question antibiotic use in animal agriculture. People often ask, why are people against antibiotic use? The answer can be found on the CDC website. People are against antibiotic usage in animals because of foodborne illness that can come from food products, such as salmonella in poultry and eggs, and E. coli outbreaks that most commonly are found in lettuce, such as the Costco outbreak in prepackaged salads and romaine lettuce in February of 2019. Of all antibiotics being sold in the US, nearly 80% are being sold for animal agriculture. Resistance has grown to many countries, whether that means banning antibiotic usage in animals or heavy regulations being put in place. In 2006, the European Union banned antimicrobial growth parameters in animal food and water supply. Today, California has strict laws that limit the usage of antibiotics in animals and have mandates in place such as withdrawal periods in pork and poultry. The regulation of a withdrawal period for antibiotic use in animals means that it is a length of time that a person producing a food product has to wait in order to sell that animal product for consumption. However, the antibiotics are still being administered to the animals, and this can create implications on human health. The example of the photo shown is a student in FFA showing a livestock animal. In order to show a livestock animal at the fair, you have to have a contract that you sign that states that you haven't administered antibiotics to your animal at least 7 to 10 days before you have sold that animal at the fair. The discussion of ethical aspects involved in animal use. It helps to know and understand what antibiotics truly are when we dive into the ethics aspects and what are involved in animal use. Antibiotics, as defined by the USDA's agriculture uses, are antibiotics that are antibacterial or antiparasitic compounds that come from microorganisms. Many of the ethical arguments and aspects involved with antibiotic usages stem from animal treatment, human ethics, and resources that are available to us. For example, many people think that antibiotic usage in animals is cruel to animal realty and believe that animals have rights in order to not be administered with antibiotics, and the belief that healthy animals should not be medically treated. The cultural and sociological importance. Antibiotic use may differ between and within countries. For example, in 2002, antibiotic consumption was 3 times higher in France than in the Netherlands, with other European countries reporting a wide range of antibiotic consumption rates between these extreme values. The use of antibiotics in animals differs from country to country, and especially here in the US, where we rank second in the food production across the globe. Foodborne illnesses. There is no guarantee that antibiotic use will prevent foodborne illness in humans because of bacteria that has often grown to resist antibiotics that are used. Foodborne illnesses can cause all of the following symptoms: fever, nausea, vomiting, dehydration, upset stomach, cramps, and diarrhea. Antibiotic use can only fight the bacteria that have not grown to resist the medicine that is introduced.
I am Eva Esquivel, and now I will discuss numbers 4 through 7 of the against portion of this project. Current events. In an article by The Guardian, it mentions that in a lot of countries, antibiotics are used in almost 80% of food animals. The rate is so high that antibiotic use in animals is larger than it is in humans. Almost 70% of antibiotics in the US are used in animals, and only 30% of them are used on humans. As of now, pigs and poultry are the animals that are receiving from 5 to 10 times more antibiotics than any other. But the question you may ask is that why strictly just pigs and poultry? Why not animals like cows or sheep? Well, they examined and found that both pigs and poultry live in small, cramped-up places. Having no space for themselves or any room to move creates stress, and that puts their health at risk, causing them to get diseases more often and quicker. In an article in 2017 by the World Health Center, it states that antibiotics are not only being used to try and cure animals from diseases, but they're also being used on healthy ones. For example, it is used to make animals grow faster in a short period of time. It makes them fatter, benefiting slaughter livestock companies like Tyson and Cargill. But luckily, in 2017, a rule was regulated banning the use of antibiotic growth in animals. Now, antibiotics can only be used for medical reasons and have to be prescribed by a vet. Now, moving on to the downside. The Center of Disease Control and Prevention, it says that animals that are treated with antibiotics run the risk of getting antibiotic resistance. Well, antibiotic resistance happens when there is an overuse of antibiotics. Although antibiotics are meant to prevent the spread of bacteria as well as kill it, in most cases that does not happen. Oftentimes, most of the germs are killed, but not each and every one of them. This makes it very difficult to treat or get rid of. Since there are germs still around in the body of an animal, it is just as bad as if no antibiotics were used. If an animal that had antibiotic resistance is to be consumed, it can hospitalize many people and lengthen their recovery time as well, or even kill them. In a study, it was found that close to 23,000 people in a year in the United States lose their lives due to antibiotic resistance. Although it does not seem like a lot, as time goes by, it is only getting worse and worse. As more antibiotic use continues to grow, it is predicted that in the next 3 decades, antibiotic resistance will not only kill a couple thousand people, but close to 10 million each year. Antibiotic resistance not only affects humans, but also the animals themselves. When an animal experiences antibiotic resistance, it is hard to find an antibiotic that can help treat it. Antibiotics are meant to cure them, but in many cases it ends up affecting them. It weakens their body and makes it difficult to treat them. It also makes it harder to prevent diseases in the animals. Antibiotic use in food animals is an ongoing problem, so there seems to be no end to it. Farmers use antibiotics on their animals every day, and as that continues, antibiotic resistance will only worsen and kill more people and animals over the years. Opinion. Antibiotic use in animals is very crucial because it comes back and hurts us. We are the ones that vaccinate the animals that we consume, and we are also the ones risking antibiotic resistance on them. As humans continue to vaccinate animals, they put more lives at risk. In the study, it was shown that after time, it is only getting worse. Although vaccinations as growth promoters for animals has been banned, it is still being used to try and cure diseases in livestock. Even though it is done for the good, the outcome of it only ends up hurting society. We put many components at risk like time, money, and human and animals' lives. If treating an animal that has been treated with antibiotic puts our health or life at stake, why do we continue to do it? I guess we can say humans are ignorant and companies are selfish. Companies want to profit and would rather spend a couple hundreds of dollars on antibiotics attempting to cure the animal than giving it up. By letting it die, they would be losing the thousands of dollars that the animal is worth. Although it does end up killing thousands of people, they seem not to worry about them. Um, it is important for animals to receive antibiotics in order to be cured, but we put humans' lives at risk by doing it. It sounds selfish to put anything or anyone's life before our own, but in the end, animals are slaughtered for human consumption. So giving them up when they have bacteria that can harm us does not make any difference for killing them. Um, To conclude, we found that antibiotic use in food animals has been in use since the early 1900s, and in 1951 the FDA approved antibiotics use for them. When using antibiotics on an animal, there is a high chance that it can get antibiotic resistance. And as we may all know, antibiotic resistance is a deadly thing to catch since the animal is no longer able to fight the bacteria. If the animal is to get antibiotic resistance, humans then become victims of it, of the animal who has antibiotic resistance. But in the end, we are the ones who eat the animals who may or may not have antibiotic resistance. It is a very serious problem that results in the loss of thousands of lives that are killed by each year. Although antibiotic use as growth promoters is illegal, antibiotics are still being used. The rate of antibiotic resistance is so massive that it seems impossible to get rid of, especially since over time more and more antibiotic resistance is being used. And these are the resources we use for our presentation. Thank you.